The Federal Communications Commission has proposed that the federal government stop micromanaging the internet by lifting laws that prohibit service providers from blocking and slowing the delivery of less profitable websites and offering higher quality to organizations and people willing to pay more.
Yeah. So what is it? I mean, exactly how does this work out for you? Dr. Stephen Andres is from SDSU's Management Information Systems Department. Can you explain this to those of us who, we want a Netflix and Hulu and we want to understand what's going on here?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me back, and happy Cyber Monday. The concept of net neutrality, that term was actually just coined recently in 2003. It's really another way of restating common carriage laws, which are centuries old. It's the kind of laws that say that the public has a right of access to certain highways or waterways. It also applied to the telephone system. So one way that I try to approach this issue with my students is to kind of take a step back and say, do you think the internet is as important and essential as our telephone system? And if you do, then you should want it to be under the same kind of regulations, which is Title II of the Communications Act. And that is something that was a change in recent times. In 2015, the FCC voted to move the internet and internet services under Title II so the FCC could have more say of what happens. Now, the common carriage is an appropriate analogy because I like speaking in terms of road analogies. We have roads that are made by the public in this country, but imagine if we all decided that the roads were going to be paid for by our ISP. So I go out and I get a Comcast road, and you go out and you get a Cox road, and we all connect up to the internet. Well, that's great until someone decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to this place called Netflix. It's a destination on the internet. And to do that, I need a really wide truck because the video files are just huge. And that starts impinging on other people on the road. Well, now we have a problem. What do we do? Net neutrality would say we don't do anything. We just let everybody have equal access to the internet. And that's the most fair way of doing it. And usually people come down on that side. Companies would say, well, we'll build a special lane for these larger trucks and then charge you a little bit more, but you'll be able to get there faster. Think of it as a toll lane on the freeway. The issue really comes down to, do you believe these internet providers are going to build new toll lanes, or will they just remove current lanes and mark them as toll lanes?
So I make sure I'm understanding this because today is not my best day. So if we let these internet service providers just have at it, and we want to watch Netflix, chances are pretty good that the toll on that road is going to go up.
Correct. And we have precedent for this. This issue came to a head in 2013, early 2014, because Comcast, which, as you know, owns several content providers, including Hulu and NBC, they started slowing down access to Netflix if you were a Comcast subscriber. Their rationale being that the Netflix packets were choking out all the other packets. So Netflix was in a position where they were forced to pay more money to have the same access to the internet. Now, because of that very public debate, we had these rulings to have the internet regulated under Title II of the Communications Act, and that has some sort of protections. What Commissioner Ajit Pai wants to do is remove those from Title II and just ensure that the ISPs put any sort of traffic blocking or traffic slowdown in their terms and conditions. And I'm sure, LaDona, you read every single word of those terms and conditions.
I have never clicked, I agree. Okay, I'm lying. I'm lying right now.
So when they change it to be one of those disclosure things, it's up to the consumers and advocates for the consumers to read through the fine print. And if there's an issue, we would have to take our cause up to the Federal Trade Commission, which focuses on all sorts of trade, not just communications. So it seems the FCC would be a better spot for regulating this communications format, which in the 21st century is a lot closer to the telephone system of the 20th century.
All right, Doctor, we got to leave it there. Dr. Stephen Andres from SDSU's Management Information System Department. Thanks for breaking it down for us.